Thank you, milady. Good morning, Mr Donaldson. I ask questions on behalf of Covid Bereaved Families for Justice UK. And I have just got 3 questions for you, please, which relate to your evidence as to the impact of the hospital discharge policy. So the first one is this. The inquiry has heard evidence about the limitations of the PHE data linkage study, given how constrained testing capacity was in March and April 2020. And you've touched on that this morning. As Ms Carey King's counsel noted at the outset, you stress fairly at the beginning of your statement that you have no academic background in science or epidemiology.
Yeah.
But is such a background necessary to recognise those limitations?
So, to be clear, I had a team of epidemiological and statistical experts who were helping me throughout that summer to interpret the raw data that we were looking at. And it was my job as a policymaker to summarise their findings and interpret them for the purposes of policy. So
is the answer no, that you were able to do that within the parameters of your role, relying on those experts?
So I think precisely because I had those experts in my team to help me, I think that I make absolutely no claims for my own knowledge, but I think I was in a good position from where I was sitting to understand the data, yes.
Thank you. Second, please, you also say in your statement that given those data constraints, it's not possible to prove definitively whether the hospital discharge policy was the cause of significant numbers of unnecessary infections and deaths, but nevertheless you say you believe it probably was. How were you able to come to that conclusion?
My personal belief. So, just because of Occam's razor, I suppose, if you take lots of people who from hospitals full of COVID and put them into a vulnerable setting without testing them, given how many asymptomatic cases there were, it would be surprising if that did not cause, unfortunately, further cases and deaths. And the problem for all of us who were working on these issues at the time is that policy was difficult to analyse for the same reason it's been controversial. There were no tests, so it was impossible to know which of those people, unfortunately, were infected.
Finally, Mr Donaldson, in your statement you describe a generational slaughter within care homes, and that's clearly not everyday language. Why or what prompted you to use such strong language in the context of the hospital discharge policy?
Well, I think I use it in the context of the overall situation. I was asked to give this witness statement in my own words, and I can't think of a better form of words given the horrible scale of the tragedy in the care homes, particularly in that first wave. We're talking about something like 27,000 excess deaths in the space of a few weeks, and of course, unfortunately, concentrated because of the nature of the virus on one particular generation.